With that being said, I'm really excited to have Jon joining us. So I think he's here. We are going to talk about co-living now. Hello, Jon. Are you with us?
Hello. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Great. Good time.
Yeah, nice to have you with us today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure always, Pauline.
Um, Before we start with your presentation, can you maybe just tell us who you are and where you're tuning in from, and then I'll put your slides in the meantime so you can start.
Yes. So yeah, my name is Jon. I'm originally from Bilbao, from the north of Spain. For the past 9 years, I've been involved in the co-working and the co-living industry. So first 2 years, I worked at the Melting Pot in a co-working space in Edinburgh. That was between 2013 and 2015. And then in 2015, I moved here to Javea, which is a small town between Alicante and Valencia in Spain, where we set up San & Co-living space, which is a co-living space for digital nomads and remote work.
Awesome. I'm just going to put in your presentation. There it is. Are you able to move the slides yourself or?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let you start then.
Okay. Well, so thank you so much. This is quite a special moment for me because this is probably, we never know, but after 7 years since I came to Javea to open this co-living space, today is my last day of work here at San & Co. This is probably the first public announcement I'm doing, but I thought it was a special moment because this presentation was made also to kind of share the most important and biggest learning from my stay and my work and my time here at San & Co. All good news, leaving the space for new people to take the company further and also for me to start a new journey, which I'm very excited about. So I would like to go back in time. It was 2015. This is the time I moved here to Javea. And with Eduardo, which is the co-founder, we decided to set up a co-living space. You can imagine, like back in 2015, there weren't many co-living spaces around the world. There were a few, but this digital nomadism trend was already starting. There were a few people working remotely already and traveling from Chiang Mai, Thailand, the first few in the Canary Islands. So we were here in Javea and we decided to, why not? We have this beautiful building. It was owned by Eduardo's grandparents. So we decided to go for it. I had the background on co-working, as I said before, and Eduardo, he had some knowledge around how to run a hostel. So we thought like a combination between his expertise in hospitality and my expertise in co-working will work out. So this is like just a few pictures of this beautiful town that I discovered also and that I call home these days. It's between Alicante and Valencia on the Mediterranean coast. And this is one of the biggest fears I think we all community co-working or co-living space founders or managers can have, because I have the impression that when you set up a new co-working or co-living space, that your biggest asset value is usually community. But when you just are opening your doors, usually the space is empty. So we had that fear also, right? Like, okay, this house is empty. We are trying to welcome people here, but of course, people were asking us like, "Wait, but are there any other people staying there?" So one of my biggest learnings also, it has been that of course there were a few other people here staying when we opened the space, and it was us. You can see here Eduardo and myself in two pictures here. One is the co-working conference in Europe in Milan, I think, back in 2015. And this was kind of the promotion we did on social media, announcing that we were traveling to the co-working space, the co-working conference in Milan. So I think, I don't know what happened.
I think we need to bring it up. I think Dimitar is gonna bring up the video to show it.
No problem. Okay, so yeah, as I said, like you kind of at the beginning you can be scared because the space is empty and you are selling community as your biggest asset value. But at the same time, we knew that we were there, so we had to also be ourselves, communicate who we were, and then also make sure that if anybody decides to come when we are just opening the space, that they know that they get to know us, and they know that we will be there to welcome them. So this is just one of the small videos, maybe Dimitar, you can put it, promotional videos we did at the very beginning to promote the space. It was December. So yeah, so yeah, just trying to be ourselves, because we knew that if they wanted to live with us, they needed to like us. Every lead or every email we were receiving from a potential guest, we were taking so much care about all of these emails, making sure they were feeling special. So for every email or booking application we were receiving, I was manually writing their name on each of these pictures and sending these emails back. And in this case, Kaishu, which is the girl that you can see in this picture, she was our very first guest. And I think we all had an amazing time. Now these days, I think you can imagine co-living with many, many people, but back then we felt like this was something special, and she felt something that it was something special. Of course, it was a full 24/7 service. We went to pick her up. We made the most out of her stay, and it's interesting here because Kaishu, over the last 7 years, she has been coming back more than 10 times, and actually she found love at Sanako as well. And now both Nikki and herself, they travel together around the world. So like Kaishu, after Kaishu, a few more people kept coming. We were able to test the product. We were able to ask, to iterate, to see if this was something that could work out. Here in the picture, you can see Peter. When Peter came, which was the first one from this group of people, I was welcoming him at 9 p.m. at night, and I made risotto for him. So as soon as he entered the house, there was a dinner ready for Peter. I think it was a very special moment for him, but as I said before, I think it was very special for us, all of these beginnings. And actually, Peter, he was here a week ago, and he has been also with us more than maybe 11 times. Actually, there is a picture of himself on the wall. So little by little, it was 2015. More and more people were coming. These are just a few pictures of all of this, but I would like to share with you just 3 stories that were quite remarkable for us. Here on the left top, you can see a couple, Noemi and Dan. They came like around 4 years ago. They were together already as a couple for 3 years, and it was a Saturday night. We were out for tapas, and Noemi and Dan, they were leaving on Tuesday. So it was Saturday night, and they shared with us, we came to Spain, we stayed here for a month, and we were actually thinking about getting married, but we are leaving on Tuesday, so I don't think it's going to happen. And suddenly there was a guy there who just came. His name was Dan as well, and sitting on this table where we were having tapas, and he was like, well, I'm a minister. I could marry you. And we all were like, what? And somebody said, like, why don't you get married tomorrow? And we all got really excited. So it was quite impressive on a Sunday morning how we all started like planning this wedding on the same day. So some people went to buy the dress with Noemi. Other people went to buy the ring. Other people were like cooking cake. Other people were writing some letters for the ceremony, setting up the dinner. So on that Sunday night, we went to the lighthouse, and the moon was rising on one side, the sun was setting on the other, and Noemi and Dan got married, surrounded by a group of strangers who just dedicate the whole entire day to make this day their most special day. So that was something really special for us. On the right-hand side, you can see Jerome, Daniela, and Paulo. They are three Sananco members. And one day they came together, and usually we have like our event agenda on the wall. And in this event agenda, we kind of plan what's going to happen during the week. We also have a collaboration board to see how can the community help each other. But they decided that why don't we bring this thing into our mobile phones? So without expecting anything in return, they decided to create an app where these days we also have our community app there with all of the profiles of the members and all of the community events. And they just did it for free, just because they loved us and because they wanted to make sure that the experience of Sananco improves. And on the last picture, you can see some people sitting around the bonfire. We host different sharing circles as well as masterminds. And to me, this is a very special moment because you see how people come together and share their biggest fears, their biggest desires, their biggest issues. They become really vulnerable and open up themselves. And sometimes they even share stories that they haven't shared to other close friends or family members, just because they feel they are in a safe environment and they feel comfortable to share all of these stories here, right? So all of these different stories and situations that had happened in the past made me think like how we create safe places full of generosity where people care about each other, right? How do you create a space where people come together and set up a wedding in one day? How do you create a space where randomly your clients come together and decide to build an app just for you? Or how do you build these spaces where people actually feel comfortable and safe to share and their stories and their life stories with each other, right? So to me, it's really important that for this to happen, the first thing that needs to happen is that you care first. And of course, we all care about our own businesses, our own co-living space, but what does it mean to care, and how do you actually care so your clients or guests also realize that you care about them and you do it genuinely, right? So for example, here in this picture, you can see our welcome card. So for every single guest that comes to Sananco, we handwrite a welcome card with their name. When they did the booking application, they also tell us a bit about themselves and what do they expect from this experience. So we use that information also to write a personalized welcome card. So for example, if Pauline comes to Sananco and she says, or she writes us in the booking form that she wants to work on her new business idea and also have some time to go surfing. I'm going to make sure that in this welcome card, I mention that. So I make sure that when Pauline, you come here, you can work around your business idea. And of course, we will find some time to go surfing, which actually you can also go surfing here on the Mediterranean coast. And by the way, today, after this call, I'm going surfing because there are amazing waves today.
Lucky you.
Yeah. So this is just one way, but as I showed you at the beginning, when we were personalizing these emails with the name of the guest, when I was cooking risotto, when you have an open space to receive feedback, and when you actually use that feedback and implement those improvements, and you show those improvements to your people, there are many ways that you can show that you care. So that is one way to create an environment full of generosity, where people care about each other. The other, now the second way to do it, or the next step, I would say, first we care, and then how do we build or provide a space for people to care about each other? So I think this is one of the key aspects or elements that we have here at San & Co. Every Monday, we have our community meeting. And in this community meeting, we all come together, hosts and guests, and we have different things. One of them is we open a space for people to have a conversation about the different things that they think they can improve. So we are opening a space not only for them to tell us what are the things that we can improve, but also we open a space for them to tell each other what will make their stay more pleasant. So if it's like, what, guys, why just if it's a space for them to say, like, guys, why don't you clean the kitchen a little bit more so other people can use it? We bring this space for them to take ownership and also to care about each other. And then also we set up our event agenda. So all of the events at San & Co are led by members. So that means that if there is a skill share about how to set up your Facebook ads campaign, this skill set will be led by one of the members. If there is a cooking night, that cooking night will be led by one of the members. If they go hiking, that hike will be led by one of our members. So what happens here, like when these events are organized and led by people like me, let's say I am a guest and I see somebody next to me is also taking the time to organize something just for me so I can enjoy, I instantly will feel like, oh, that person is caring about me. So I would like to maybe make some pasta tomorrow and offer it to the community. If us as a co-living brand, who will be organizing all of these events for them, they will feel that this is something you are paying for. So they won't see this as an exchange. They will see more like, this is what I'm paying and this is what I'm getting. So that's why we bring this whole experience into the members, because then it creates a feeling of giving without expecting anything in return, a spirit of caring. And so these just are a few pictures of the experience. You see the different skill sets, cooking together, tapas, hikes, and as I said, all of these are led by our members. And so what happens when you create a space full of generosity where people care about each other? So this was something really surprising and really special moment for us. It was during the pandemic and the lockdown. We had to close our space, and to kind of survive these difficult moments, we just launched a crowdfunding campaign. We sent it out to our members, and it was a donation base. So as one of our biggest quotes here at San & Co is, community is built when you give without expecting anything in return. And in this case, we also launched a crowdfunding campaign which was donation based, where people could just donate money in exchange of keeping San & Co alive for the upcoming year. In this crowdfunding campaign, we raised 17,000 euros, and we had 99 donators in total. Like, some of them were recurring donators, and some of them were one-time donators. And our highest donation, it was 1,000 euros. And with this 1,000 euro donation, there was an email. And in this email, Xavier said, like, San & Co is like my own house. So like in a house, sometimes you need to do some refurbishment to fix some things. So as I see this as my home, I understand this as something that you need to invest some money on it. Thanks to all of these things, we won the Co-Living Award for the best community and user experience in 2021, and the best nomad co-living or co-living for nomad digital nomads in 2022. So just to finalize my presentation, of course, a co-living business is not only about creating a space that you care about each other and a caring environment. Of course, there are many things, many layers you need to do well. Of course, you need to find the right people. The curation process is important, and you need to attract the right people to your own space. Of course, that the logistics, the operations, there has to be a convenience here in the space, so your guests only focus on things that matter to them. You need to provide them with opportunities to connect to each other through many different ways. And if you do those three basic things and you implement a caring atmosphere on top of it, I think you can actually build a space like San & Co and many others where people genuinely care about each other. And a space where people genuinely care about each other, and a space where people can be themselves, when people can feel comfortable to share their deepest stories, in my opinion, can transform people's lives. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. I just updated here my slide. General manager. Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Jon, for such a presentation. I think it's like a really great example of the work it takes, because, you know, earlier in the presentation, before you joined, I was talking about this chicken and egg problem, space first, community first, which is always a question that operators are asking themselves. And I think you illustrated, because you guys started first with the space, but all the work you put led you to win, not only to have such a unique community, but also to be recognized for it. So it really shows that when you have the space and the right mindset for it, you can really bring people together. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, what was challenging along the way for you guys when it came to building and nurturing that community? Especially because, you know, in your context of co-living, you also have a turnover of people. So what did you find challenging in the process?
Look, we get that question many often, like, how is it possible to build a community when people only stay for 3 weeks? Like, or how is it possible when people only stay for 2 weeks? I think we are lucky because co-living spaces for digital nomads in this case, or co-living spaces in general, we kind of host people in a home. So home is a space where you feel comfortable, you feel safe, and you feel protected. And I think that can accelerate a lot the community building process, because at the end, building a community is a matter of how much you make your members connect. So an experience like this, it becomes more or less like a summer camp. I don't know if you've ever been into a summer camp before, but when I've been to a few when I was young, and as soon as you get in, after one day, you already made your best friend, then you fall in love in day number 2, then your heart was broken on day number 3. So everything is really, really intense. Of course, this is a summer camp, but for adults, where they also work a lot. So for us, the home aspect and the intensity aspect, it makes the community connect a lot harder. The challenge to me, it will be like, how can I keep this community engaged even when they are not here in the house, right? Because this is like a spark of inspiration. People come here, you feel like, wow, this is so incredible, I'm learning a lot, and it becomes sometimes like a turning point many times. But then how do I keep this excitement or this motivation even after people stay here, or how do I keep people connected to each other? That's something that we didn't focus in the past few years with any online communities or anything like that. So I will say that will be our biggest challenge, how to keep that community engaged even when they are not here.
And so you said earlier in the presentation that today's your last day at Sun & Co. I'm so surprised. I'm like, wow, it's crazy. So let me ask you then, what would you say has been your biggest learning as Jon, working as the general manager and like co-founder at Sun & Co.? What do you take away from the whole experience?
Well, my biggest learning, it will be the deep connection between me as a person with the co-living experience at Sun & Co. So once there was, JP is one of our recurring members, and he's a guy who helps people find their life purpose. So in one of our skill sets, it was about finding your life purpose, and I volunteered to be the one or to be supported to find it, and it was really enlightening to see how we could relate my personal story into the mission and purpose of what we do here at Sun & Co. How to me it's so important to create spaces where people connect in a meaningful way, or create a home where people connect in a meaningful way. Maybe because I didn't have that in the past when I was younger. So if I take it if I take it very personal, and what Sun & Co has taught me in the past 7 years, it will be what my life purpose is from now on, in order for me to follow this path and make sure I do this that is so fulfilling.
Well, amazing. Thank you so much, Jon. I see in the comments you have Donna, who is a reader from ours from New Zealand, watching at a very late time. She's saying, thanks for sharing and all the best for the next chapter in your journey. Do you already have it, the next chapter, or it's not yet to be revealed?
I'm already working in a few projects, but I'm becoming freelance. Okay. I'm becoming a digital nomad after 7.5 years. Well, not that much of a nomad, but yeah, I'm moving into this remote world after seeing so many people passing by, and I'm becoming one of them. So yeah, I'll be working in different projects, which I'm very excited.
Cool. Well, Jon, thank you so much for today. It was, as always, really nice to have you. And I hope we can see each other very soon, somewhere in the world while you are remote working. You're always welcome if you pass by Berlin or something to be with us.
Maybe in Valencia.
Also in Valencia, through the Coworking Spain conference, maybe, if we make our way there. Yeah.
Okay.
Enjoy the surfing and see you very soon then.
Thank you.
Bye, Jon.
Bye.